You know him from The Daily Show and his many comedy specials and tours, including his current It Gets Better Every Day tour. His live streaming show, The Rant Is Due, streams at the end of each stand-up concert, and you can submit your rant at lewisblack.com/live. Ladies and gentlemen, Lewis Black!
Well, this is a thrill of a lifetime. I mean, this is a dream come true. I mean, to finally be able to do stand-up comedy on the radio. I mean, it's either I'm dreaming or this is the end of my career. But what delights me is that I finally can do stand-up the way I've always wanted to do it, which is sitting down buck naked in front of an audience. I have to be honest, I really don't enjoy doing comedy as much as I used to because it's harder and harder to be funny. And I think you all know why. Look, it's just tough to be funny when everything's going so great. I mean, it's hard to make people laugh when they're so happy. And I mean this. I travel all over the country, and everywhere I go, people are happier than I've ever seen them. They are smiling ear to ear. It is like, it's like they're all on ecstasy. It is like wandering through a great big Christian camp. And as a Jew, let me tell you, that's exhausting. Sometimes when I'm walking down the street, I feel like I'm in a high school production of Annie. And at any moment, we're all gonna start singing Tomorrow. And I think it's pretty easy to understand why we're feeling so good. I certainly know, and I'm gonna share it with you. And I know you all know this. You see, every night when I was a child, I would get down next to my bed and I would say my prayers. Yes, I did. And I would pray to God, please, dear Lord, when I grow older, let there be 2-day free shipping. And I think I can speak for all of us when I say that our prayers have been answered. If 2-day free shipping doesn't make you happy, there is something wrong with you. After the first 3 deliveries that I got in 2 days, I threw away my Xanax prescription. And why is it important? Why is 2-day free shipping important? Because every one of us has a hole in our hearts. And the only thing that fills that hole is when we see something we really want and we buy it. That can be as simple as a pair of socks with unicorns on it. But when that arrives, you rip that box open, you take those socks, and you shove it in that hole. And by God, you feel good for at least an hour and 15 minutes. I'm feeling good because I get to go home this Thursday and see my mother, and it's important that I get to see her as much as possible now, because she's reached that age where you kind of have to see her as much as possible. She's 101. My father passed away in May. He was 101. This means there's a real possibility I'm a reptile. They were married 74 years. No, it's not that impressive. In order to do it, you have to live forever. Or be married at the age of 9. People say, why was their marriage so successful? It's because they never heard a word the other one said. The reason they live so long? People say to me, why? How? How did they do it? First, and this is going to upset some of you, they never went to the gym. They didn't eat farm to table. Everything they ate had preservatives. Hence, they were preserved. My mother, when she celebrated her 100th birthday, blew out the candles and said, "Nobody should live this long." At 101, she blew out the candles and she said, "I made it across the finish line, now I can drop dead." And then we sang Happy Birthday. I have something important to share with you tonight. I believe that I know what is wrong with America. This is going to come as a shock to you because none of you could guess it. I stumbled on it by accident. I did not know this was our problem, but I see it quite clearly now. I was driving from Buffalo to Jamestown, New York. Jamestown, New York is the home of the National Comedy Center. You should look that up. It's an extraordinary place. I was going there, and I was feeling hungry. It was 1 a.m, so I had to stop at a McDonald's. It was the only thing that was open. I thought I'd have the McNuggets, because that surely seemed like the healthy choice. So I drove up to the box, and I noticed that on the menu, there was a new item. And the item was buttermilk tenders. Whew, this piqued my interest. So I asked the box, what's the difference between a tender and a McNugget? And this stumped the box. Eventually it said, well, a McNugget is a McNugget, and a tender is a tender. Being kind of a foodie, I threw caution to the wind and ordered the tenders. I drove up to the window. I said to the person there, please, before you go back in, can you tell me the difference between a McNugget and a tender? And without blinking an eye, they said to me that the tender tasted a little more like chicken. And that's what's wrong with America. When people in the crapper don't know the crap that they're serving, then all of us end up in the crapper. And this is a great way to compare anything. And I leave you with this, especially with the elections coming. People are going to say, what's the difference between a Democrat and a Republican? And don't you blink. You answer them. And you say, a Democrat is a Democrat. And a Republican is a Republican. And they both taste a little bit like chicken. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
The one and only Louis Black.